Hello, Evanston Democrats. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm so proud to serve as your Lieutenant Governor. And I'm especially proud to be running to represent the great state of Illinois in the United States Senate. I want to thank you for your engagement in this critical election. And thank you so much for taking time to learn more about me and my campaign, especially in this truly unprecedented and challenging time. With the chaos and cruelty that we see coming from Trump and his administration, checks and balances have never been more important, and our democracy has never been more fragile. We need our court system to defend the rule of law, not turn the other way while Trump stomps on the Constitution. I would not vote for more Trump appointed federal judges to have a lifetime appointment to the bench. We already know the impacts of 4 more years of Donald Trump will extend far beyond his time in office, and I refuse to be complicit. Right now, it's really clear that life has just become far too expensive for people, and people need relief. And to me, what that looks like is putting a little more money back into your pocket because that can go a long way. $7.25 just is not a living wage. And frankly, in this economy, neither is $15 an hour. That's just $31,200 a year. And that's why I believe we need to fight for a $25 minimum wage nationwide. I'm really proud of our work to raise the minimum wage here in Illinois and lift millions out of poverty. But we need to do more, and we need to do it on the federal level. You shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, especially when we live in the wealthiest country in the world. So this is really about creating a baseline that people can thrive under. I know that where they can build wealth and have disposable income, that will put more money back into our local economies. And at a time when everything is simply unaffordable, we need to invest in the workers that are the backbone of this country. And we really should have access, everyone, to a thriving middle class. I would be honored to serve on any Senate committee, but I believe that I can bring my unique perspective to health, education, labor, and pensions, as well as agriculture, nutrition, and forestry. Illinois is the most labor-friendly state in the country, thanks to the work that we've all done together to protect workers' rights. And I want to continue that fight in Washington and ensure that workers across the country have access to the benefits and protections that they deserve. I've also led our administration's work on Alzheimer's research, care, and treatment. And that came from my personal experience as the caregiver for my mother who had Alzheimer's. And I would bring that firsthand experience to the Senate and expand access to care in science-based research that builds healthier communities. And as chair of the governor's Rural Affairs Council, I've worked for 7 years to invest in and uplift Illinois' agriculture industry, our state's largest industry. I always say that ag connects us all, and I want to keep working to ensure that we're building bridges between our rural and urban communities, and that Illinoisans in every corner of our state know what kinds of opportunities are available to them in the agriculture world, from tech to agribusiness to farming, and so much more. In order to put the Democratic Party in the strongest position heading into 2028 and beyond, because we have to think beyond 2028, we first have to recognize that many people are frustrated with being told by politicians what issues they should care about. At the end of the day, we all want the same things, and we're certainly seeing that Donald Trump is not upholding any of the promises that he made. But Democrats have made a lot of promises too, and we have to follow through on them to rebuild trust and faith with the voters. The bottom line is that people are sick and tired of the status quo, and they're tired of feeling like nothing in life is getting easier no matter who is in office. And so we have to show all voters what we are fighting for, not just what we are fighting against. And there's a lot to fight against, but we have to be clear about what we are fighting for. And what am I fighting for? Well, I'm fighting for a $25 an hour minimum wage, and I'm fighting for Medicare for all. And that's why I'm the only leading candidate in this race that's not taking any corporate PAC money, because we've lost the trust of voters time and time again because Washington has put corporate special interest ahead of the people. And I refuse to be a part of that system. I always say we need to give the people what they want, and what people want is higher wages, access to health care, and a government that's going to focus on their needs, not the needs of corporate special interest. In times like this, it's up to all of us to come together to protect our neighbors and stand up to Trump's abuses. I'm really outraged by what we are seeing. People being ripped off the streets, stuffed into unmarked vans, held for days in inhumane conditions. There's no transparency and seemingly no bounds to their cruelty. Trump doesn't care about fixing our broken immigration system. He just wants to use immigrants as scapegoats for his failures. And we will not participate in his abuses of power. And that's why we are using every tool at our disposal to fight back and to demand accountability. In Illinois, we continue to pass crucial legislation to protect our communities. We fought back against the Trump administration in court, and we've spoken out on the streets. We've created the Illinois Accountability Commission because Trump and his cronies someday will be held accountable and will have to answer for their actions. Thank you for all you do to uplift the Evanston community, and thank you for using your voice and your vote to make our state and our country a better place for all. I certainly hope to earn your support, and you can learn more about my campaign at julianastratton.com.